championships. Tonight, the Creighton Blue Jays, with a record of 6 wins and 8 losses, meet the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, with a record of 7 wins and 7 losses. Live from the Assembly Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The game of the week is brought to you by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by State Farm Insurance Companies. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there for help with your car, home, life, and health insurance needs. Now time for the play-by-play of Valley basketball with Wayne Larrivee and Bob Ortegel on the Missouri Valley Basketball Television Network.
Close to a capacity crowd filing into the Tulsa Assembly Center. The Creighton Blue Jays with a record of 2-3 in conference play, and the Golden Hurricane with a record of 2 up and 4 down, all 4 losses coming on the road. Now Creighton has won 2 in a row, both at home, and the Blue Jays feel they're playing their best basketball of the season right now, and one big reason is a 7-footer by the name of Benoit Benjamin.
You're exactly right, and not only is he 7 feet, Wayne, but he's 250 pounds out of Monroe, Louisiana. Just a freshman, a young player who is just now beginning to come into his own. He is the co-player of the week in the Missouri Valley Conference, and in the last outing, a win over New Mexico State, the young man had 36 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 block shots.
For Tulsa, in the month of January, injuries have taken their toll. They have lost their point guard, Mike Smith, and their center, Bruce Fanley, at one time or another. So much of the burden has fallen on Ricky Ross, the forward.
Well, and it's put an awful lot of burden on him, really, and evidence of that is the fact that he's played the point guard position for Tulsa. They've played him at the second guard position, and he's also played at the forward spot. So Ricky Ross has had a real challenge. However, he seems to be coming around. The other night, in a big win over West Texas State, Ricky Ross gets 29 points.
Willis Reed, coach of the Creighton Blue Jays, in his second year, trying to turn that program around with 9 new faces on the roster.
You know, when he recruited Benoit Benjamin, the expectation was just tremendous, and the anticipation for a great season. And really, that's a little bit unfair to Coach Reed because of the fact that the young man was only a freshman at the time. But Coach Reed is making some real strides in recruiting. I think truly dedicated to getting the Creighton program back on top in the Valley.
Okay, now Coach Nolan Richardson lost an awful lot through graduation last year, but he refuses to use the word rebuilding in his vocabulary. He says he's merely reloading.
And in that relocating process, probably fired some blanks to date, but he's trying to correct that situation. When you lose the incomparable Paul Pressey to the Milwaukee Bucks and 4 other starters like Nolan lost, it takes a while to come around, but there's some good players in this program. He's an excellent recruiter, and he'll get the job done.
Okay, Creighton at Tulsa. We'll be back with the starting lineups after these messages from your local stations.
This Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week is also being brought to you in part by Ciba-Geigy, the makers of Bicep, the double-duty herbicide for corn.
People who worry about American production should be proud of the gains made in agriculture.
Fran and Howard Mueller grow corn in Waverly, Iowa.
For instance, when Howard's father was a farmer, he was proud that he raised enough food each year to feed 19 people. Today, Howard and I are just as proud to know we grow enough to feed 78 people. That's efficiency. And it's possible because of advances in technology. Farming today is a pretty complex business. It's more than just producing crops every year. We also have to make sound financial decisions, like whether to store our corn or sell it. American farmers are the most productive in history, and that's important because people depend on us.
This message brought to you by Bicep, a herbicide used by the American farmer to improve his efficiency.
Lousy color, rolling pictures, half the time it doesn't work. Oh, that does it, we need a new TV.
Sweetheart, relax. ABC Rental makes it a snap. There, we rent a color console, 25-inch picture, RCA, Zenith, Quasar, and Sylvania, some cable ready, plus an option to own.
How much?
No big down payment, low rent, no credit hassle, service and delivery included.
That's a snap in the right direction.
ABC makes life better with 3 convenient locations, east, west, and south.
This week on Sunday Magazine's special edition, The Job Market, we will offer to you more job listings. Plus the fact we'll teach you how to do a good interview to find a job. I'm George Gardner. Join me this Sunday at 11:30.
back in Tulsa. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for tonight's starting lineups. At the forwards for Creighton, a 6'6" senior, Des Moines, Iowa, number 44, Richard Bates. For Tulsa, a 6'6" sophomore, Kansas City, Missouri, number 32, Vince Williams. At the other forward, the Blue Jays start a 6'7" junior, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 25, Gregory Bandon. The Golden Hurricane call out a 6'7" junior from Wichita, Kansas, number 24, Ricky Ross. At center for Creighton, a 7-foot freshman, Monroe, Louisiana, 00, Benoit Benjamin. For Tulsa, a 6'8" senior, Muskogee, Oklahoma, number 40, Steve Ballard. At the guards for the Blue Jays, a 6'1" sophomore, New York City, New York, number 22, Vernon Moore. For the Hurricane, a 6'5" sophomore, Blue Springs, Missouri, number 20, Steve Harris. At the other guard, Creighton calls out a 6'1" senior, Corning, Iowa, number 10, Mark Jones. And Tulsa will look to a 6'4" senior, Edwardsville, Illinois, number 23, Ty Nielsen. The coaches for Creighton in his second year, Willis Reed. For Tulsa in his third season, Nolan Richardson. We'll be back with the opening tap. This is the Missouri Valley Basketball Network. Last year's games, 80-55, 70-63, and 106-81. Tulsa has won 4 of the last 5 games between these two teams. The officials, Manny Reynoso, Tom O'Neill, and Mike Nevin. And we're just about set for basketball. Tonight's action being brought to you by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. Creighton dressed in the solid blue uniforms, the Hurricane in the gold, the blue trim, blue numbers. Benoit Benjamin, number 00 on the right side of your screen. Steve Ballard, number 40 on the left. And the tap controlled by the Blue Jays. Richard Bates, Mark Jones, the senior, Vernon Moore, the sophomore out of New York City, New York. Moore, number 22, picked up by Steve Harris. Good matchup in the backcourt right there.
Creighton very wisely checking the defense of Tulsa. Wayne.
Swing the basketball. Jones with a good fake. Vernon Moore has the open lane, and a foul coming up. Vince Williams picked him up and hacked him on the play. The first foul of the ball game. That'll be a 2-shot foul, I would think.
Here's Moore on the penetration, taking the ball to the basket. If you notice, Creighton cleared the left side of the floor, giving Moore the opportunity to go one-on-one. And it worked as he was able to draw the foul. A very effective play, one that benefits you tremendously late in the half because of the foul situation it creates for your opponent.
Vernon Moore missing on his first. Moore coming into the game shooting at 81% from the free throw line in Valley competition. And the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead over the Golden Hurricane. Some three-quarter court pressure.
After made free throws, it appears as though Creighton will come at Tulsa with pressure.
Ballard on the drive, Benoit Benjamin with the block. Vernon Moore racing out of the backcourt. That's Bates, number 44. Again, Creighton will move to the setup offense. Benjamin from the foul line. Vince Williams with a baseball feed ahead to Ballard, and this time he makes sure of it.
Coach Reed not real happy about that. Wondering what happened to his defensive responsibility at the guards. That would be Moore and Jones. Great pass. There's a good look at Coach Reed, trying to figure out what happened. He calls Vernon Moore over.
Richard Bates, top of the key. Vernon Moore in the corner. Benoit Benjamin is inside. We've got a whistle before the shot, apparently a 3-second violation on Big Ben. First turnover of the ball game.
I'll tell you, this is the first chance we've had to look at the young man. He is huge. He is a very good example of having an aircraft carrier in the middle. He's a big young man and coming on fast, I understand.
On the drive, Vince Williams, and a foul coming up. Benoit Benjamin picked him up, got him with the body.
It's going to be real important, Wayne, that Benjamin keeps his poise now. He's missed a shot, went after a block there, and got called for the foul. Anytime you've got a young player such as he, when you're on the road, you want to watch him carefully because it gets away from him a little bit.
Vince Williams, 6'6" sophomore, Kansas City, Missouri, starting to put his game together. Has played well lately. Excellent defensive player, very quick inside. He's not big for a forward. Golden Hurricane on top by 3. Full court pressure. Off the made free throw. Brandon playing ahead to Vernon Moore. Now the Blue Jays will move to the set-up offense.
And Tulsa goes to a zone. After the made free throw, they were in full court zone pressure and dropped back into a zone.
Jones from three-point range. Ballard with the rebound off the loose deflection. Bates nearly took it away from the Golden Hurricane. That's Harris in the corner. Ty Nielsen, number 23, will run the team. Hurricane have had turnover problems at the guard spots, and they've had a lot of fluctuation at the guard roles this year because of the injury to Mike Smith, their point guard. Smith is available tonight, although he's not on the floor now. Nielsen on the feed to Ricky Ross. Steve Harris in the corner. That's a 2-point field goal.
Good job against the zone. Tulsa very patient, moved the ball well. Finally got the open shot.
Golden Hurricane lead it by 5 here in the early going. From the outside, Brandon. Ricky Ross on the rebound. Nice feed ahead to Vince Williams. Brandon is right there for the rebound for the Blue Jays.
Great pass by Ricky Ross that time, Wayne.
Just about 3 minutes into this first half of play. Once again, Creighton will take their time. Not many empty seats here. This is Bates on the short-range jumper, and he gets the bounce of the rim. First field goal of the game for Bates, and Creighton is back to within 3.
Creighton stays in pressure after a field goal, too. We normally see that after made free throws. We do not see it as frequently after field goals.
Ricky Ross now out at the point, number 24.
And they go 2-1-2 in the zone.
On the outside, Harris. Brandon the rebound. Vernon Moore is his outlet target. Jones, the feed to Moore in the lane. Nice move.
Great one-on-one move. Went up in the air, double pump, brought it back down, put it up off the glass and in.
These two teams get it up and down the floor. Hurricane quickly into their offense. Ross. Handed off the glass, a 3-point field goal. I don't know if that was by design, but it counts for 3.
I would like to tell you that I know he did it on purpose, but I'm not sure.
Brandon tied up momentarily. The pass to Moore knocked out of bounds. Last touched apparently by Vernon Moore. Good pressure defense by Ricky Ross. 16 minutes, 2 seconds left to be played in the first half, and right now, the Tulsa Golden Hurricane taking it to the Creighton Blue Jays, and we'll be back after these local messages. Wayne Larrivee, Bob Ortegel. We're in Tulsa, where the Golden Hurricane trying to win their second in a row, have a 4-point lead. Plenty of time left, obviously. 16:02 to go first half. Willis Reed sends his troops out onto the floor. They've won 2 in a row, both at home. Nolan Richardson. Richardson, the first coach at NCAA Division I to win 50 games in his first 2 years.
Creighton really mixing up those defenses. This time they're in a 1-3-1 zone defense. Doing a lot of things defensively.
Hurricane on the attack. They keep swinging the basketball. Will we see the battle of the zones tonight, Bob?
It looks like it. We've had both full court zone pressure as well as half court zone defenses.
Harris with the hang jump. Bates comes down with a rebound.
Good fast break opportunity for Creighton. They should score.
Jones to Vernon Moore. The play broken up, knocked out of bounds by Ty Nielsen. Hurricane got back in a hurry, but really the offensive execution was not quick enough.
No, it really wasn't. The pass should have been made earlier, and then probably back to Jones for the layup.
Jones on the inbound to the big guy, Benjamin. Big Ben, they call him up in Omaha.
He is Big Ben, Wayne. Wherever he is, whether it's Omaha or Monroe, Louisiana.
That's right. Blue Jays on the attack. That's Vernon Moore, number 22. Benjamin on the turn. He's got a nice touch.
Yes, he does.
His first field goal. So the lead is sliced to 2 in favor of the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Steal by Jones on the feed to Moore. We're tied.
Good hands by Jones.
Vernon Moore has 4 points. Tulsa having some problems with that full court defense, and we've got a whistle on the play.
Very astute observation, Wayne. They really are. What it's doing is it's breaking the rhythm of their offense. Even if it's in the back court where Tulsa's having difficulties, it disrupts the rhythm that you need to be effective in the front court with your offense.
Bates guilty of the foul. His first, second on the team. Williams will trigger the left baseline. Ty Nielsen at the point. Tulsa working the basketball. Tied up at 9 apiece. Just about 6 minutes into this first half. Nielsen from the outside. Bates had position, but it's back tap to Ross. The block is executed on the play by Landreth Baugh. This is Vernon Moore. Fine play by Baugh defensively to set up this offensive sequence for Creighton. Chance for the Blue Jays to move on top. Jones looking over the zone. Vernon Moore. Inside Landreth Baugh, and we've got a foul coming up.
Great interior feed that time. Baugh just a freshman. A good look at it here. Moore moves it to the left, finds Baugh down low, shoots the ball inside. Baugh takes it up as he should in there, drawing the foul.
Steve Ballard guilty of his first personal foul. That's the second on the team. Reggie Morris, number 32, coming into your picture.
One has to be encouraged when you look at people like Benjamin at 7 foot, 250. People like Baugh at 6'5", 190. Both of them freshmen getting playing time. The future has to be bright for Creighton.
Herbert Johnson is in the game for Tulsa. Landreth Baugh at the line. Highly touted freshman out of Chicago. His coach up in high school at Collins High School in Chicago, Calvin Moses. Moses now on Willis Reed's staff. Ball 1 out of 2 at the line, and the visitors lead it by a point.
Once again, you see the full court pressure. Tulsa will have to resolve that eventually. There's a great job.
The ball batted away by Reggie Morris and controlled by the Blue Jays. The corner ball, that's Vernon Moore, number 22, and he'll set up the offense. Reggie Morris at the point. Vernon Moore on the backdoor feed. Richard Bates with a nice pass through the zone. Creighton on top now by 3.
Give Bates a lot of credit. That was a super pass.
Hurricane trying to execute the offense. Harris with the open jump, and we've got a whistle on the play. Foul coming up. It'll go against the Creighton Blue Jays. Reggie Morris and Nolan Richardson up off the bench to make sure. Morris in with his first. That's the third on the team. Willis Reed, bottom of your screen, also checking things over with Reggie Morris. Steve Harris heading to the free throw line. Harris had a marvelous freshman season, and he's played pretty well in his sophomore year, although he doesn't have the help he had last year.
And that's the major point. People are not willing to admit nor accept the fact that Harris was a great freshman. He's just as good a sophomore, but he doesn't have the same kind of people around him. When you lose the stability from a player like Paul Pressey, it takes a while. Pressey's not here, and Harris is used to playing with him.
It's a one-point ball game as Harris connects on 2. Vernon Moore setting up the offense for the Blue Jays. As I mentioned, close to a full house on hand here at the Tulsa Assembly Center.
Benjamin wants that basketball down low, and that's a good sign. He should want it.
From the outside, Morris. 3-point field goal for Morris. 4 points the lead now for the Creighton Blue Jays. Harris on the feet ahead. Johnson able to handle.
Wayne, in the basketball game for Creighton right now, we have 3 freshmen, Morris, Baugh, and Benjamin. Tell me about their future.
They'll be experienced sophomore players, you can bet. Nielsen on the feed to Ballard inside. Ballard moving well away from the ball, and he cans 2 off the glass. Ballard with 4, and the lead has been sliced to 2 for the Blue Jays. Willis told me before the game that here's Morris from the outside. The rebound pulled down by Ross. You'll find out a lot about Creighton on this 2-game road swing. Ballard can't handle the pass, and here come the Blue Jays back the other way, and the ball thrown out of play by Vernon Moore. So the action a bit sloppy with 12 minutes and 17 seconds left to be played, and this is the first half. And Creighton edging Tulsa at the moment. This is the Missouri Valley Basketball Network.
Tulsa with 3.
Suggs in the game. Herb Suggs for the Golden Hurricanes, 6'2" freshman out of Kinston, North Carolina. This is Suggs. Ricky Ross playing the backcourt spot with him. Harris on the wing. Good move around Morris. Lendrith Baugh, the rebound, getting up high for Creighton. Here come the Blue Jays. Vernon Moore. Followed Willis Reed from New York City, New York, out to Creighton last year. This is Morris. Lloyd Benjamin inside. We've got a foul. It's offensive on Benjamin. That says no. It's a traveling violation coming up.
We see the pass inside to Benjamin in here, and they're really trying to help out on the backside or the help side of the defensive floor, plus dropping down from the top. He was called for a travel.
So the Hurricane looking to tie with a field goal right here. Steve Harris, the pass intended for Harris, stolen away by Lendrith Baugh, blocked from behind by Suggs in the foul.
He did what he had to do, Wayne. Ball went after the basket, took the ball to the hole hard. Here you see him trying to get set to dunk the ball, and Suggs comes in from behind, gets a piece of it, and prevents the dunk.
That's the first on Suggs. It's the third on the team, and obviously a 2-shot foul. Up off the Creighton bench coming into the game, Kenny Evans for the first time tonight, freshman out of Millsville, Georgia. Led his team to the state championship in high school as a junior. Lendrith Baugh, 6'8" freshman, Chicago, Illinois. 1 out of 2 at the free throw line. Creighton now enjoying a 3-point lead. 8.5 minutes into this first half of play.
How about the Creighton lineup now, Wayne? 4 freshmen.
They get younger and younger.
4 freshmen.
Golden Hurricane of Tulsa. A team in transition, perhaps. New faces for sure. Ross from the outside deep. 3-point goal.
We talked about him at the top of the show. He can shoot it and appears to be gaining some confidence coming off that 29-point performance against West Texas State.
Came into the game averaging 18 points a contest. From the corner, Morris.
Somebody got lost defensively there.
Gregory Morris has 5 points for the Blue Jays. Tulsa again quickly into the offense.
Creighton extending the point man on a 1-3-1 zone and pressuring the basketball.
Ross again. Herbert Johnson with the rebound. Steve Harris looking to set up for a jump. Score the field goal on the foul on Morris.
Great play by Steve Harris. Excellent balance, good body control. He got the ball up off the glass and in. You can see it here. He goes to the right, makes a little fake to the inside, comes to the right, maintains his body control, goes up, gets the ball off the glass and in, and draws the blocking foul against Creighton.
Morris guilty of a second personal, 4th on the team. And Steve Harris, who is a deadly free throw shooter at the line. 2 of 2 from the free throw stripe so far tonight, 4 points. Make it 5. And suddenly Tulsa jumps out on top.
And they counter with a little bit of pressure of their own on the basketball. Sometimes the best way to handle pressure is to apply it back to your opponent.
Blue Jays on the attack. Creighton trailing by 1. Good defense being applied by the Hurricane right here.
The crowd is about to get into the game. Here it comes. You could feel that a few seconds ago.
Got a foul on Harris. He tried to reach in on Reggie Morris. Steve Harris hit with his first. That is the 4th on the team. Non-shooting affair. Blue Jays will trigger from the sideline.
Crowd's been a little bit quiet, Wayne. But you know it's going to pick up. It always does in Tulsa on Saturday night.
Brandon having some problems
There you
inbounding,
are.
and Harris on the interception to Suggs on the drive. Crowd wanted a goaltending call or a foul. Ricky Ross gets it back on the feet of Herbert Johnson, and it's taken away by Landreth Barr.
Now they're in it.
Oh, the disapproval is unanimous. Kenneth Evans. That's Gregory Brandon, number 25. Brandon looking for room on Ross. Reggie Morris, number 32.
Tulsa continues to mix those defenses.
Benjamin inside, and the ball is slapped by Suggs from behind. Herb Suggs hit with his second. That's the 5th on the team, and we still have 9:31 to go. First half of play. Everybody trying to help out on the big guy. Vernon Moore coming back into the ball game for the Blue Jays. Number 22 in your screen. Tonight, Benjamin will head to the free throw line.
Gregory Brandon, I think very much a key to the success that Creighton could have this year. I think he has to play well, being a junior college player, being a little bit older, having maturity on his side. I think he has to play well because of the number of freshmen, and he has to take the pressure off of Benoit Benjamin inside. He can do that.
Benjamin hitting at 64% from the line in valley play, averaging 16 points per ball game.
He's got a great touch.
He really does for a 7-footer.
We saw Creighton one time last year. This is a much better Creighton team than the one we saw last year.
Benjamin can snap a 19 all tie. 9:31 left to go. First half. Now the Golden Hurricanes trailing by a point, take it across. Tulsa's played 6 top 20 teams this year. They're 2-4 against teams who have appeared in the top 20. So they've played some people. Ricky Ross from just inside the three-point line. Herbert Johnson had the rebound. Vernon Moore knocked it away. Ross able to recover.
There's the key for Tulsa back in the ball game.
Suggs from the outside, and he's fouled. Kenneth Evans on the foul. On Evans, that is his first, and we get another look at it, 5th on the team.
There's the key with the basketball right now. Mike Smith back in the lineup for Tulsa did a good job of getting the ball over to the open man. I'll tell you what, you can't win in collegiate basketball today without effective play from a point guard. If you keep searching and looking at the point guard position, you're going to have problems. Tulsa has had to play without Smith. He's been injured, played 4 minutes the other night, is in the ball game early tonight. Maybe the young man will be all right. It'll make a big difference to this basketball team.
He had a slight foot fracture on January 6th. He's been out since then until the other night. The foul occurred after the shot, so score the field goal, and the Hurricane retain possession. Tulsa by a point. Ballard inside. Benoit Benjamin makes sure on the rebound. Oh, the baseball feed to Moore nearly overshot him. Vernon on a nice over-the-shoulder reception. He has 8 points.
Great rebound, great pass by Benjamin. I like him. He's going to be a good one.
Just coming into his own, according to Willis Reed. Inside Riley. Had an easy 2 and could not make it go. Benjamin waits for the traffic to clear.
I like what he did there. Benjamin wanted to throw that long pass again. The man wasn't open, and he held on to it.
Vernon Moore wants a timeout of the Golden Hurricane with 8 minutes and 28 seconds to go, and this is the first half of play to talk things over. Tulsa trailing Creighton at the moment, and we'll be back after these local messages.
Benjamin has 4 points and 3 rebounds, Wayne, for Creighton, while Moore has 8 points. For Tulsa, Ross has 6 points and Harris has 8 points. Creighton continues to improve upon their shooting percentage. They've gone from 63% to a 67 field goal percentage.
Blue Jays on the attack. Vernon Moore. Pass stolen away by Vince Williams. Here's Herb Suggs on the drive. We're seesawing now, and Suggs has 4 points. The inbounds, and Jennifer Jones off his fingertips and out of play. So the Golden Hurricane retain possession.
Now a young basketball team has to handle the pressure of the crowd as well as the pressure of Tulsa. Tulsa scored on a breakaway, came right back with very effective full-court defensive pressure and caused a turnover.
6 turnovers for Creighton.
Creighton changes the defense again, goes 2-3 this time. You can't spend all your time trying to figure out what they're in. It's a various zone alignment all the time. You got to run your normal zone offense.
Vince Williams had the ball slapped away, but Ballard able to pick up. Mike Smith in heavy traffic.
Kept his poise real well that time, Smith did.
Vince Williams, Ballard in the lane.
Good job there. Good movement of the basketball.
Harris on the shot. Benjamin the rebound. Benjamin really swings it around, doesn't he?
He'll have to be careful. Don't be surprised if you see that get called sometime. Excessive swinging of the elbows coming off the board with the glass is a foul.
Bates to Benjamin with the fade. Ballard had position on the rebound. Hurricane on the attack. Mike Smith. Vince Williams.
Smith trying to get his team into full court pressure, being the leader that he's supposed to be.
Golden Hurricane by 3. Vince Williams took it away, but he's called for a foul. Second personal, 6th on the team.
Fouls on Vince Williams, second personal, 16 foul.
Get a look at Creighton handling the pressure here. We can see the reach, the contact, and the foul there on the part of number 32, Vince Williams. A lot of people going in and out of this basketball game, Wayne.
Boy, I tell you, the wheels are turning at both ends. Keith Smith on the inbound for Creighton. Benjamin inside from Bates. Mike Benjamin now with 6 points. 1 point lead for the Golden Hurricane. Mike Smith. That's Harris. Smith is from New Mexico Junior College. Nice feed to Ballard.
Creighton got spread out a little bit that time in their zone defense, and when they widened out, they created a gap. And they lose the basketball against the full court pressure again.
Here's Vince Williams looking at the baseline. Harris has room. The lead is 5. Vernon Moore attempting to move it across. Golden Hurricane on top. Mark Jones. Got a foul coming up. I believe it's on Harris. Yep. Harris on the bump, I believe. On Harris, that would be personal foul number 2. 7 on the team, 1-on-1 opportunity.
Benjamin gets arrested for Creighton as Bresnahan, the big guy out of Chicago, number 43, comes into the ball game.
5 of his brothers have attended Creighton. 2 of them graduated from the medical school, and his parents are honorary alumni.
And they're a wonderful family. They really are. They have a deep, loyal connection with Creighton. It's quite a luxury to take a 7-foot, 250-pounder out of there and put in a 6'11", 230-pounder.
A 1-on-1 opportunity missed by Jones. Williams the rebound, and here come the Hurricane quickly. Herbert Johnson to the corner. Smith to Vince Williams. Williams tied up at the baseline momentarily. From the outside, Herbert Johnson. Rebound knocked up against the side of the backboard and knocked out of bounds. Apparently last touch by Creighton. Up off the bench into the ball game, Creason Hay, freshman out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, for the Golden Hurricanes. Herbert Johnson on the inbound.
I think there have been 20 people in this game already. Well, a lot of substitutes.
Here's Hay at the foul line. The jumper won't go for Vince Williams. Hay on the rebound. The ball up for grabs. Last touch by Bresnahan. As he tried to haul it in, he had a foot on the baseline. Del Tulsa, another shot at it. Hurricane leading this one by 5. 5:22 to go. We're first half of play from the Assembly Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Harris from three-point range. Yep.
Going to have to move out on him if you're going to play a zone. He has a hot hand right now.
Richard Bates has it tipped away from behind. Last touch by Bates. Willis is way up off the bench. There he is at center court, bottom of your screen.
And he was way out on the floor.
This one's starting to get away from Creighton.
I've not seen Coach Reed so animated.
5 minutes to go first half. 8-point lead for the Golden Hurricanes.
You see how wide that zone is right now? They're going to have to pack that down in, except for Harris. There, they've got to get to him.
Harris slipping inside. Now the feed to Smith in the paint, blocked by Bresnahan. Vernon Moore has to save. The ball knocked away, and it will go to Tulsa. Again, Willis Reed up off the bench in rather animated fashion, arguing the call. Nolan Richardson kind of likes it.
Got a little hectic right here. You see the block by Bresnahan. The loose ball, Moore has it. It's deflected out of his hands. There's a lot of people going after it. And the officials over on that side, as our viewers can see, got a lot of help on who ought to get the ball back.
That's a fairly upset Willis Reed at the moment. His team has fallen behind by 8 points with 4 minutes and 38 seconds to go. This is the Missouri Valley Basketball Network.
My American friends introduced me to my favorite beer, light beer from Miller. Now I'm introducing them to my favorite food. With nachos, the best thing about light is it tastes great.
Not bad.
With enchiladas, the best thing is it's got a third less calories than the regular beer. With burritos, the best thing is it's less filling.
Carlos, what's this?
And with jalapeno peppers, the best thing about light is it's cold.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Florida.
Play, Coach.
Wayne, there was a lot of conversation between 2 of the 3 officials during that timeout. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Reed reacts that way again if they try to get his attention with a technical foul. I really believe they were unhappy with where he was and what he had to say.
Tulsa has assumed an 8-point lead, much of it amassed. Technical foul has been called. Harris at the line. Connecting on the free throw. He's 4 of 4 from the line, has 14 in the game. Much of the lead was amassed when Mike Smith came into the game, their point guard, and he really started the ball moving well.
It makes a big difference. Frequently, when a ball club gels, it gels starting with that position.
Smith out of the game and Ty Nielsen back on now.
I think they're trying to be sure that they don't test that ankle too much.
10 points the lead for the Golden Hurricane. That's the largest lead for either team tonight. Harris on the wing. Creason Hay, the freshman. From the outside, Nielsen. First field goal for Nielsen and the full court pressure once again. Benjamin, the target on the inbounds. Vernon Moore breaks it across. Moore on the drive. Got a foul. I believe it's Creason Hay. Personal foul number 1 on Hay.
Jonathan Creason Hay, his first.
So the Blue Jays a chance to cut the lead down to 8 with a pair of free throws.
Number 25, Gregory
Brandon into the ball game. Number 25 and Reggie Morris, number 32, reinserted into the lineup for Creighton. Oh, I'd say the substituting is incredible in this game. It's tough to keep up with who's in the ball game.
Well, that's why they pay all that money, Wayne. That's what you're supposed to do.
My board here with all the names on it isn't big enough tonight. Vernon Moore with his first. Sophomore from New York City, New York. Again, high expectations from him. He was all city as a senior in high school. He's finding his way as a player at Creighton.
Got a lot of the starters back in there now for Creighton to see if they can't
Golden Hurricane on the attack.
Cut that big lead that Tulsa has now.
Ricky Ross back into the game for the Hurricanes. Harris on the feed to Ross.
Prior to those free throws by Creighton, Tulsa had scored the last 13 points, Wayne. That's the story of the basketball game so far.
3:37 to go first half. Tulsa leading by 10 at the moment. Hay on the feed to Johnson. Swings the pass to Ross. Johnson, Herbert Johnson on the pass.
Johnson worked hard in there that time on the offensive glass.
Reggie Morris on the quick run, trying to feed Brandon, who lost it out of play.
9 turnovers for Creighton, only 4 for Tulsa in the first half. That's been much of the story. Tulsa enjoying their largest lead. Harris, nice move. 17 first half points for Steve Harris. Vernon Moore racing it across against that full court pressure. Richard Bates in the corner, number 44. Tonight, Benjamin on the trail, and now Vernon Moore will set up the offense.
They're going to have to work down low to Big Ben a little bit more, I believe.
Moore trying to feed Benjamin, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Hurricane. I believe the man who broke it up was Herbert Johnson.
And when they feed him in situations like that, Wayne, they're going to have to feed him high to take advantage of his size and his reach. Put the basketball up. Look at there. That's a good example of it as he reached up with the ball. Feed the man high with the pass.
Vernon Moore running the offense.
Don't put it down there where all those little guys can get it.
Creighton trailing by 14. Blue Jays have won their last 2 in Valley play. Morris from the outside. Yes, and a foul. Score the field goal.
Very fine shot. No question about the foul on Morris. We get a look at it here. Creighton working against the zone. Going over the top. Morris goes up. You can see the contact there by Ricky Ross as he grabs the hand of the shooter, Morris. The basket counts and an opportunity for 3 points.
7 points for Reggie Morris. All-State Mississippi selection last year. By the way, on Ross, that was his first personal foul. Creighton is now trailing in the ball game by 11. Here's the steal by Vernon Moore, and he straddled the midcourt stripe as he brought it down.
If he brought the basketball down and was straddling the midcourt stripe, I have to question the over and back call. If he landed in the front court or the back court and went into the other, then the call is correct.
Tulsa gets it on the turnover. The 10th committed by Creighton in this first half of play. Ricky Ross, number 24, from the point. That's Harris.
Creighton adjusts their zone now to a 3-2 with Brandon on top, but you can't let him penetrate like that against the
Nielsen
zone.
on the penetration, but Herbert Johnson traveled on the move.
If you're going to play a zone, you have to eliminate penetration on the dribble or the pass. If you allow an offense to penetrate that zone defense, you're going to get beat.
The inbounds to Reggie Morris, and Morris carried the basketball for a couple of steps.
And that he did.
11 turnovers for Coach Phyllis Reed's Blue Jays. Nolan Richardson's team has committed 5 turnovers.
Creighton's had problem with the full court pressure.
Vince Williams into the lineup, replacing the freshman Creason Hay. Ty Nielsen, number 23, on the inbounds. That's Ricky Ross, number 24, middle of your screen.
He'll start on the point, but he'll swing ball side to get the shot. Now Harris will do the same thing. They continually rotate like that.
Herbert Johnson with the line drive, Benoit Benjamin controlling the rebound. Had 14 the other night against New Mexico.
He's got a bunch here tonight so far.
Also got back quickly and defensively on that break by the Blue Jays. Bates in traffic on a fade. Whistle on the play as Brandon hauls down the rebound, and a foul coming up on Steve Harris. That's 3 on Harris.
And you better believe that'll bother Coach Richardson. He's coming out of there right now. We can see, we talk about this every week. We have to mention it again. If you're behind on the offensive board, you cannot attempt to go up and over the top. You're going to have to try to get inside and explode up inside to get the rebound. You can't reach over the top. As soon as contact is made, that official will call that foul automatically. If there's no contact made, sometimes he'll call it.
Gregory Brandon, his first point of the night. He is a junior college All-America at Thompson College in California last year. Played for former pro Walt Hazard in junior college, originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Chuck North is in the game, replacing Steve Harris, who has 3 personal fouls for Tulsa.
This was a big ball possession for Creighton because they were able to get it down under 10. They're down 9 right now. They need the basketball back.
Vince Williams has the ball taken away on the play by Reggie Morris. Vernon Moore out of the backcourt in a hurry. Bates from the corner. Benoit Benjamin. Well, they've sliced it to 7, 8 points for Benjamin.
And they go to full court pressure.
48 seconds remaining in the first half. Ross plays it across to Williams. Tulsa would like one shot. Chuck North, number 43. Golden Hurricane leading by 7. 28 seconds remaining, first half. Chuck North into the paint on the finger roll. 20 seconds remaining as Bates comes away with a rebound.
Creighton has a chance to cut it to 5 at the half.
In the paint, Gregory Brandon.
Tulsa has time for a shot, Wayne.
6 seconds remaining. Ricky Ross to Chuck North. 2 seconds North. 3-point range at the buzzer. A late rush by the Creighton Blue Jays, and they slice a heavy deficit down to 5. End of one half complete. Creighton trailing Tulsa 40-35. We'll be back with our halftime activities after these messages. We're back at the Tulsa Assembly Center, and I'll tell you, it was a, 13, 14-point lead at one point of that first half of play, Bob Ortegel, for the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. They really got things going, but a late rush by Creighton, and we've still got a ball game. It's just 5 points.
It was really kind of 20 minutes of streaks. Creighton had a period in there where they outscored Tulsa 9-0. Tulsa had a period in the first half where they outscored Creighton 13-0. Both of them applying pressure back and forth. A lot of substitutions going on and some inconsistent play throughout, I thought.
Well, that's one thing. We saw an awful lot of full court pressure on made free throws, on made field goals. Both teams defensively really defending the entire court.
Well, there's a multitude of reasons why coaches go to full court pressure. I think one of them usually is even if your full court pressure is token. By that I mean you keep the basketball in front of you and simply retreat. You have an opportunity to disrupt the flow and the rhythm. You take the offense out of sync, so to speak. But in this particular case, Tulsa created a lot of problems for Creighton. They turned the ball over against it, but in the last 3 minutes, they were able to get back in the ball game. I think it'll make for a great second half.
Okay, now what are the coaches talking about at halftime at this point?
I think the play was a little bit sloppy against the pressure. I would imagine that both coaches right now are going to dwell on the fact that we need to be able to take care of the basketball against the pressure, and don't worry so much about attacking the zone as you worry about attacking your basket. Get the ball to your basket. Get it to the open man. Don't dribble it so much, pass it.
Okay, well, we got to look at a couple of zone defenses in action in the first half of play, and we're going to get a look at how you work against a zone defense.
We can look at it right here, Wayne. We see Smith on the point 22 move the ball over to the wing. We see penetration on the left side there. That's Harris, an excellent shooter. Great body control all the time. He gets the ball up and in, and an effective way to work against the zone. You need to move the basketball and move your personnel to get good shots. Then when you get good shots, be sure you go to the offensive glass.
And the key, Harris was working to the basket even though the shot was from the outside.
Harris had 17 points. He will work to the basket. He does a great job of giving a good ball fake. He'll show the ball, give a good fake along with a good head fake. Then he'll move inside off a 1 or 2 bounce dribble. It's that 1 or 2 bounce dribble that gives him his rhythm. When he does it very well. He's a good shooter.
Okay, we'll be back with more at halftime. The score, a 5-point lead in favor of Tulsa over the Creighton Blue Jays, 40-35. Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week. We profile what are the head coaches. You know, coaches shape the personality of their team and of the conference and certainly the conference race. Tonight, Bob Ortegel had an opportunity to chat with former New York Knick, now Creighton head coach Willis Reed.
Willis, you've accomplished so much over the years in the sport of basketball. There are just numerous things that we could talk about, and I guess maybe the best place to start is what's your biggest thrill as a player? Back to Grambling and the Knicks, what's the biggest thrill?
Well, I think probably the most exciting, the biggest moment of my life probably was May 8, 1970. We won the NBA championship for the first time in the history of New York Knickerbockers.
I believe that was also the year that you were named most valuable player in the playoffs. Is that right?
Yeah, I got all of them that year. We was kind of lucky. I tell people when you win most valuable player, what I wanted for the regular season, All-Star game, and the playoffs is that it means you're playing with some good people and they're doing a good job. And that was a tremendous year. That was a year that New York City and probably NBA basketball was at its height.
You know, after a collegiate career like you had at Grambling with 3 NAIA appearances and 2 championships, and then such a great career in the NBA. Why does Willis Reed want to coach collegiate basketball at Creighton?
Sometimes I ask myself the same question. I think it's something that you've been a part of, you know and you like, and it's in your blood and you love it. All the years I played professionally, I used to work camps for the Knicks, and then eventually I had my own summer basketball camp teaching basketball. So I just have had a great love affair with basketball, and I wanted to stay involved. And I felt like at this point in my life, I think if you're going to be doing something, it should be something you enjoy. You know, because there are some tough times in it. We were a very young basketball team, and we got a long ways to grow and develop, but there is some real satisfaction in it.
Well, I think that says it about as well as anybody could say it, Willis. And one last question. Last year, you picked off one of the finest high school players in the country, a very highly touted young man, a very highly recruited young man, a guy by the name of Benoit Benjamin. Tell us a little bit about him and how good can he be?
Well, I think, first of all, Ben's a very young player as far as experience. He's never had the experience of playing summer league basketball, park basketball, like most of your kids that play out on the East Coast or out on the West Coast. So I think he's a little bit behind there. Potentially, I think he's going to be a great player. At the present time, he's leading us in scoring and rebounding and learning the game. By the time he's a junior, I think you're going to see potentially a really great college player.
Well, he ought to have a great teacher. We thank you for coming by. Continue success.
Thank you very much.
All right, Coach Bob Ortegel with Willis Reed. You know, Willis, I remember growing up in New York and watching him play for the Knicks. The one thing I really remember about him, number one, he was quiet. Number two, he handled success very well. And I've got a feeling with the people he's recruited this past year, he'll be successful at Creighton before it's over.
I think he will. You know, it's so important. You mentioned one's knowing how to handle success. Frequently, people are motivated, and they strive to get to the top, and then when they get there, they do not know how to live with success. They forget about the humility they had along the way, and that humility becomes arrogance and conceit. Not in the case of Willis Reed.
Okay. As is our custom each halftime during the Missouri Valley Basketball Game of the Week, we take a look at the Player of the Week. But this week, we've got 2 to take a look at. The Player of the Week feature coming up. This week's Missouri Valley Co-Players of the Week, Creighton's Benoit Benjamin and Illinois State's Dwayne Tyus. Benjamin, the Blue Jays' 7-foot freshman center, led his team to wins over Southern Illinois and New Mexico State as he scored 48 points, had 26 rebounds, and blocked 8 shots. Against the Aggies, Big Ben's 36 points were the most by a Creighton player since 1977. In addition, he had 13 of 18 shots from the field and 10 of 13 free throws. All right, you take a look at Benoit Benjamin. We saw him tonight. I'm most impressed with his rebounding ability more than anything else.
Well, I think the young man's come a long way from what I heard he was doing in December. In talking with Coach Reed prior to the ball game, his potential, I think, is unlimited. I believe that the key for Benoit Benjamin does not lie in his skills or his ability. It lies in his willingness to sacrifice, to work hard, to make all those things become a reality for him. And I believe he'll want to do that.
Well, the top-ranked team in the Valley right now is Illinois State, and the Redbirds are being led by a super fine player by the name of Dwayne Tyus. And Tyus also won Player of the Week honors in the Missouri Valley this week, tying Benoit Benjamin. Tyus, a senior guard, helped the Redbirds snap Wichita State's 13-game winning streak and move into first place with a 54-53 win in Normal, Illinois. In addition to scoring 15 points, Tyus hit 7 of 10 from the floor, including the game winner with 15 seconds left. Congratulations to Benoit Benjamin and Dwayne Tyus. Take a look around the conference, and again, Wichita State certainly on top, along with the Redbirds of Illinois State. After that, it's pretty much a dogfight.
What a big shot Tyus made, and what a job Illinois State is doing. We need to talk about their national rankings, certainly. I think they're very deserving of that. They lead the Valley Conference, as our viewers can see, with a 7-0 record. Wichita State in second place at 5-1. New Mexico State, a much improved team this year under Weldon Drew, 4-3 record. The Drake Bulldogs, 3-3, and they host Indiana State in Des Moines tonight. The Bradley Braves struggling just a little bit at 3-4, but watch out for the Braves before it's all over. Creighton, a team we're watching here tonight, is 2-3 against Tulsa, 2-4. 2 teams that I believe are better than their records indicate. Indiana State, we had a good look at last week in a big win over Southern Illinois. They lost a heartbreaker on Monday night to New Mexico State. West Texas State improves this week to 2-4, and Southern Illinois Salukis are 1-5.
All right, you take a look at it then tonight. I would think one of these 2 teams going to make a run of that first division, and Tulsa, they played 4 road games already in conference play, lost all 4 of them, but they're going to be home now.
Right, and Illinois State is running away with the thing right now, and Wichita State certainly a close second. I think the real battle is going to take place for second, third, and fourth to see who hosts games in the postseason tournament to determine the NCAA representative. So it's going to be hot, heavy, and very hectic, I'm sure, down the stretch.
Okay, we'll be back with the halftime statistics after these messages from your local stations.
What's the secret of saving your lips from the wind? My lips are sealed, good chap.
5-point lead for Tulsa at halftime. Could have been a lot more.
It really could, Wayne. Tulsa had quite a lead and lost it against full court pressure, turning it over. Here we can look at some of the stats. Creighton 12 for 19 for 63% from the field. Tulsa 15 for 37. Look at the difference in the shot attempts. For only 41%, but Tulsa does lead in the basketball game. Creighton from the line is 10 for 14, while Tulsa is a perfect 7 for 7. The rebounding, very close. Creighton with 13, Tulsa with 15. 10 turnovers for Creighton, 6 for Tulsa. The difference right now is the number of shot attempts that Tulsa has had compared with the number of shot attempts that Creighton has had.
And Tulsa did not score in the last 3 minutes of that first half. Good defense, or was it misfiring offensively?
I think they got a little bit careless. I really do. I think they looked up at the scoreboard, and I thought they were going to, they thought they were going to be able to waltz in at the half and maintain the lead that they had, and things didn't turn out that way, to the credit of Creighton. But it's been a pretty competitive basketball game. There have been a lot of mistakes, and both teams will have to do a better job against pressure, but I would anticipate that that's going to happen.
Only 3 Valley teams have won conference games on the road. Illinois State 3-0, Wichita State 2-1, New Mexico State 1-2. Tulsa and Creighton have not yet won on the road in Missouri Valley play. This conference is just murder when you take the suitcase with you.
You know, you mentioned the Illinois State again, and I think we need to bring it up one more time for our viewers. That Illinois State Redbirds, Normal, Illinois, are ranked 14th in the UPI poll. The UPI poll is the coaches poll. In the writers poll, the AP poll, they're ranked 17th, and the national magazine Sports Illustrated has them ranked 9th. So that's a credit to the Redbirds, it's a credit to Bob Donewald, and it's a credit to the Missouri Valley Conference.
Light beer from Miller, everything you always wanted in a beer and less, is bringing you Missouri Valley Basketball Game of the Week telecast. Tulsa in control. This is Ty Nielsen as we start the second half of play.
Creighton stays in the zone and stays wide in the zone. They do not pack it down in. It's a wide zone, and they cause a turnover with it.
Vince Williams could not handle the pass. So the Blue Jays a chance to close to within 3, and when you consider they were down 13, 14 points at one juncture of the first half of play, that's not bad.
What's important now, though, is that they maintain their poise and they don't get in a hurry. They're playing on the road against a talented team. They have to get good shots.
Brandon goes cross court. Vernon Moore on the drive, forcing the jump. Nearly got it, but he was fouled.
Looked like he hung in the air forever.
Oh, didn't it?
Move the basketball around. We'll take a look here and see how long he was up in the air. Gets the basketball, makes the penetration to the inside, goes up and hangs, double pumps. With the double pump, he was able to draw the foul. Contact was made on the elbow. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
On Ricky Ross, that is his first, make it his second personal foul, the first team foul. Vernon Moore has 11 points here tonight. He is 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Now the Blue Jays right now could hope to close to within 4 if Vernon can connect on the second end of this 2-shot opportunity.
So many games are won or lost at the free throw line.
That 15-foot shot, and it becomes so tough.
They stay with the pressure. Full court zone pressure, and they'll drop to a regular zone. Right here, you'll see him drop 2-1-2 with the big guy in the middle.
Harris, nice speed down low to Battle. Credit Harris with a nice assist as he fed through the paint.
Good job by Tulsa. They caught Creighton in the middle of adjusting while Creighton was trying to adjust the zone. They made the interior feed and got the easy basket.
Early going second half. Gregory Brandon, number 25. Richard Bates, the senior. Jones off the pick. Trying to get it back to Vernon Moore. It's up for grabs right now. We've got a pile up, and the jump ball indication is made. I believe it'll belong to Creighton on the alternating possession. It's kind of like a fumble in football. Nobody can put their hands on it.
Creighton gets it back on the alternating jump ball rule.
Willis Reed heads back to the Creighton bench. Mark Jones. Trying to beat Bates, the interception, Ricky Ross.
Tulsa trying for an 8-point lead. Ross from three-point range.
He can do that. He had 3 or 4 of those the other night, I believe, in a win over
I was
West
thinking
Texas State.
8. Ross was thinking 9. The lead is 9. Here's Benoit Benjamin down low.
That's where they need to go with the basketball, but in order to do that, they're going to have to clear out some people so that they can free Benjamin up down low.
He is so smooth with the basketball.
They must hustle back here. Tulsa doing an excellent job.
The lead is 7 for the Golden Hurricanes. Second half of play. Nielsen given the open jump. They say try it, and he hits it. They just gave him that one.
You can't let a man have a shot like that. Not when he's coming up off the dribble, especially because it gives him an opportunity to get his rhythm.
Nielsen came into the game shooting 42% from the field. Vernon Moore with the penetration. Benoit Benjamin. Offensive is the call. On Benoit, it's personal foul number 3. Make it number 2.
Here we see the penetration by Moore, the dump pass over here to Benjamin, and he does. There's no question. The defensive player maintained vertical position. Benjamin went up, knocked him down.
Second personal on Benjamin. 9-point lead for Tulsa. Just about 3 minutes into the second half of play. Creighton in a spread out zone. Nielsen operating the team from the point. Ballard down low. The battle of giants inside. Ballard again. The ball is saved by Vince Williams. Nielsen on the alley-oop to the basket to Williams, and a foul coming up on Creighton.
Wayne,
Bates guilty of the foul.
we get a look at some of that action. We see that loose ball there. Ballard comes up with it, takes it back strong. It's up off the glass. We see a lot of contact, a lot of aggressiveness there. I tell you, Creighton's going to have to pinch that zone just a little bit more because they're moving out to the wings with the ball fakes. When the ball is on the point man fakes the ball to the wing. The back man on his own moves with the fake, and then they shoot the ball inside. We're going to have to stay a little tighter around the lane, giving up too many easy shots to the Golden Hurricanes.
2 team fouls on the Creighton Blue Jays. Williams will attempt to hit his second. Shoots at 81% from the free throw line. The lead is an even 10 points now for Tulsa.
Creighton really needs a basket here. They ought to be patient, try to get it to the big guy.
Vernon Moore. Richard Bates up high.
That'll do it.
Benjamin has 12. He moved well away from the ball to get open.
He really did. That's a very good job.
Vince Williams. Ricky Ross now at the point for the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. 8-point lead for Tulsa.
Tulsa operating well against this zone.
Vince Williams had to go with a high arc that was off the mark. Gregory Brandon on the rebound. The quick fast break to Vernon Moore. Jones with a short jump. Creighton is back in it. They trail by 6.
Credit Moore with good penetration and a good drop pass.
Ty Nielsen trying to penetrate.
There
Beautiful feed to Williams.
They got to tighten that zone up, Wayne.
Brandon the rebound. Mark Jones on the drive, and he'll be called for a carrying violation. We've got a break in the action coming up. 15 minutes, 39 seconds left to be played. We are in the second half. That's the story. This is the Missouri Valley Basketball Network. Alley-oop feed to Ballard off the glass, knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to Creighton. Benoit Benjamin is out of the lineup for Creighton now. Landreth Baugh has come on. Full court pressure by the Golden Hurricane, and we've got a violation coming up against Creighton.
If the official handles the basketball and gives it to a man out of bounds, that man cannot move with it. He may move after a score, but he cannot move on a violation. The Creighton player did and was caught.
Ricky Ross now hands to Smith. The alley-oop down low, and Herbert Johnson the target for 2.
That doesn't work with Benjamin out of the game, but it did on that particular occasion.
Creighton a bit rattled now by the full court pressure. Vernon Moore. This is Mark Jones. Richard Bates in the corner. Inside, Brendan. Junior college transfer, Gregory Brendan out of Compton College in California.
Good quick moves that time by Brandon.
Smith on the feed to the baseline. It's intercepted by the Blue Jays, Richard Bates. Mark Jones on the run. Jones with the feed inside Brendan. He left it short and a foul. I believe they're pointing the accusing finger at Brandon.
That will really hurt. That's a big play. You got an easy 2 points. Jones does a good job here with the penetration. Makes an excellent pass over here to Brandon. He ought to get this one, and he knows it. He misses it. Then he goes up over the back of a Tulsa player and draws a foul. That's a very crucial point in this basketball game.
First personal on Brandon. That's the third on the team. The Hurricane, as a result, on the attack.
It's 2 you don't get, and 2 they do get if he scores right here, and he will.
Harris, nice move.
Anytime he makes that head fake and ball fake, we talked about at halftime.
Harris triggers the turnover. Smith on the feed to Harris, and Steve can't handle it.
Good job by Smith there.
Boy, he is an excellent passer. I can see where they would struggle without Smith.
Yeah, they really have, and I don't think enough people keep that in mind. Usually when a basketball team struggles, there's a good reason for it, and in this particular case, Tulsa playing without Smith, I believe that's made a difference. He's not healthy, you can tell it out there, but he's playing.
Big Ben didn't get much of a rest. He's back in the game already. Vernon Moore on the feed. Francis Fletcher on the drive. First 2 points of the ball game. Harris quickly for Tulsa. That's Smith at the point. He swings that ball back and forth.
Ross had a notion on that three-pointer a minute ago. Good job.
Smith. The tap won't go for Johnson, and they only get 1 tap at it as Benoit Benjamin picks up.
Good offensive pressure by Vernon Moore.
Fletcher from the corner. The rebound for Tulsa's Steve Ballard. Good effort on both sides. Crowd coming to life. Harris. Yes. 21 points for Harris.
You know, I believe a boxing 1 against Tulsa would be very effective. Play Harris man-to-man, and then play the 4-man zone, either a box or a diamond.
Gregory Brandon from 17 feet away. Up over the top, Brandon will be called for the foul. On Brandon, personal foul number 2. That's the 4th on the team.
We can see here, Brandon takes the shot, misses it, follows the shot like he should, but makes contact right there, going up over the back again.
Smith and Harris, the backcourt duo. Johnson. Benoit Benjamin, the rebound. The baseball feed to Vernon Moore. Nice move by Moore. Steve Ballard there for the rebound, and the Hurricane come back the other way. Ricky Ross. This is Smith. Harris is wide open in the corner. Yep.
That's why I think playing him man-to-man would be effective. That's not a second guess. It's easy to second guess. We all know that.
12.5 to go in the ball game. Gregory Brandon on the reverse. Nice move.
Great move by Brandon. Good one.
8-point ball game. 12:19 to go. The alley-oop down low, intended on the play for Johnson. And coming up with the basketball, Gregory Brandon. This is Vernon Moore now.
Tempo's picked up, Wayne. Pretty much an up-tempo game right now.
Benoit Benjamin. Moore feeding inside, and a foul committed by Tulsa. Gregory Brandon, the intended target. Foul coming up on Johnson. That is his first, second on the team. We've got a break in the action. Bob Ortegel mentioned things are picking up here in Tulsa. The Golden Hurricane continue to lead by 8. And we'll be back after these local messages. Sundays are special days at Camelot, beginning at 11 a.m., ending at 2 p.m. Sunday brunch is served in the King's Court dining room. And how about topping off your brunch with a trip to the pastry and dessert table? $7.95 the price. Camelot, the place in downtown Tulsa, the official headquarters of the Missouri Valley Basketball Network crew.
Creighton continues to shoot a blistering 64% from the field on 18 for 28, but the difference comes in Tulsa has 22 baskets in 52 attempts, many more shot attempts, but only shooting 42%. Tulsa's also 8 from the line, while Creighton is 11 for 15.
Creighton could close to within 6 of the field goal right here.
We're even on the boards, Wayne, 23 apiece. The official scorer calls somebody back. I believe somebody might be in the basketball game that did not report. We will see here. Obviously a technicality at the scorer's table.
Waiting to inbound the ball, Reggie Morris. Willis Reed over to check with the scores. Make sure all is in order. Now Morris on the trigger.
Once again, the attendance here tonight.
Trying to get it to Benjamin like a pinball machine. The ball bounces loose, and we've got a foul coming up. Foul being indicated apparently on Francis Fletcher. That's his first. That is the 5th on the team.
Good hustle on Fletcher's part. He was going after the basketball. You know, they just mentioned the attendance here, Wayne, and we need to mention the fact that Missouri Valley Conference is alive and well. They're averaging over 1,100 people per contest as compared with last year.
Harris on the hook at the baseline, and the Tulsa lead has grown to 10. 11:47 left to be played. This is Vernon Moore. 8,985 in attendance here tonight, and this game being shown live in the Tulsa area. Dwight Benjamin on the feed inside. Gregory Brandon. Brandon again gets it back for 3, and we've got a whistle in the paint. Foul coming up against the Golden Hurricane. Could have been any number of people. Foul being indicated, though, on Jeff Riley.
Brandon worked extremely hard inside. Had a good shot again, missed it. Continues to keep the ball alive on the offensive board as you want an offensive rebounder to do. Tap it, keep it alive on the offensive glass, grab it on the defensive glass.
1 foul on Riley, 3 on the team. From the corner, the jumper by Morris is right on. That's a 3-point field goal. So the lead has been sliced to 7. Herb Suggs in the game, and we should point out Bruce Vanley is on for Tulsa for the first time tonight. Suggs. Vanley gets it back off the floor. A chant of Bruce from this crowd of 8,000 plus.
That makes a lot of people happy. He hasn't played very much because of injuries this year, but he was dominant in a big win over North Carolina.
Reggie Morris from 3-point range, and we've got a foul after the shot on Herb Suggs at Tulsa. That is the 3rd on Suggs, 4th on the team.
You have to wonder, too, what Tulsa would be right now if Vanley had been healthy all year and playing up to his capabilities, as he did in 2 big wins. Keep in mind that in December, Wayne, Tulsa defeated North Carolina and Oklahoma, 2 very fine basketball teams.
At the line, Reggie Morris. He's come off the bench for 11 points. 1 of 1 from the free throw line tonight. They say 2-shot foul, so the foul committed. Others are the active shooting. Occurred just as he released the basketball. That was when the first contact was made. Here's it from the crowd. 7-point ball game now. Tulsa on top. The interception by Landreth Ball. Vernon Moore on the drive. It's down to a 5-point Tulsa lead. 14 points for Vernon Moore. He has played well here tonight.
Creighton continues to hang in there and battle. Tulsa's just always able to come up with a big basket. That's usually the guy that gets it, Harris.
Ross from 3-point range. Harris gets it back for
2. He's been the difference in the ball game.
The lead once again is 7 for the Golden Hurricanes. These are the Blue Jays. Vernon Moore. Dwight Benjamin fighting to get loose inside. Down low, Landreth Ball travels. Turnover number 16 for Creighton University. 5 committed in the second half.
Got Smith is back in the game. Yeah, he's back in for Tulsa. Try and settle things down just a little bit, I believe. Coach Richardson using him very wisely, I believe.
Vanley on the feed. Riley traveling the call.
You know, we need to say something about Riley. Just a freshman, 6'9", big and strong, but we understand that his baby brother is committed to Tulsa and Coach Richardson, and his baby brother is 6'10" or 6'11", I guess.
Somewhere around there.
One whale of a high school player out of Muskogee, Oklahoma.
Reggie Morris off the mark. Bates the rebound. Good fake. Riley picks it off the board. Crowd up and cheering now. Alley-oop feed off the backboard. Benoit Benjamin couldn't handle it. Riley does.
There's Harris again, and here comes the crowd.
48 points for Harris.
Creighton needs to be very careful right here. They need a basket. First of all, they need a good shot and hopefully a basket.
The feed will end with Baugh in heavy traffic off the hand of Baugh out of bounds. It'll belong to Tulsa. 17 Creighton turnovers in this ball game. Three-quarter court pressure by Creighton. Lead pass to Riley, broken up by Baugh. Baugh able to save to Benoit Benjamin off the shin of Riley.
There he is again.
By Harris. Steve Harris is on fire. The lead has grown to 11 for Tulsa, and the crowd loves it. 8:39 left to be played in the game. This is Missouri Valley Basketball Network. The Tulsa Assembly Center. That's the story with 8:39 left to be played. And as Bob mentioned in the first half, I guess a game of streaks. And right now, Nolan Richardson's Tulsa Golden Hurricane on a streak of their own.
They certainly are, and they played awfully well the other night against West Texas State. Carried over here tonight, I believe, and it could be a real indicator of what is to come for the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. Steve Harris, who we've been talking about, has 30 points right now. That's a season high for any Tulsa player, and it's a career high for Harris.
Wyville Wood, number 23 in the game for Creighton. Reggie Morris at the point. There's Wood, number 23. Wood, indecisive. Bates, feed into the lane. Steve Harris breaks out of the pack with it.
Harris did not see anybody in front of him other than blue shirts, and he very wisely pulled up with a basketball.
Hurricane leading by 11. 8 minutes to go. Williams, Smith. Here's Harris. Reggie Morris picked him up immediately and knocked the ball away, and Morris is guilty of the foul. Freshman from Tupelo, Mississippi, state high jump champion. Third personal on Morris. That is the 6th on the team.
Tulsa gathers together at the free throw circle. Good look at Nolan Richardson, the head mentor of the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, wearing those fancy boots.
Cowboy boots and polka dots.
Become a trademark with Coach Richardson. It must work as many games as he's won in the last 5 years.
Harris now has 31 points. He's 6 of 6 from the free throw line. What an outstanding performance. We saw a couple of his outstanding performances last year.
He certainly did.
Missouri Valley Network. Creighton's not shooting poorly. They're shooting 61% from the field on 21 of 36, but Tulsa has 60 shots from the field, connecting on 27. Well, Harris, in rather routine fashion, puts through a pair. 7:50 to go. Reggie Morris. Wyville Wood from the outside. Vanley the rebound. Vanley's not moving very fast, but he is in the ball game, which is a plus for the Golden Hurricane, who've operated for the better part of this month without him. Smith. Harris, he's been hot as a pistol. Harris can do no wrong.
He wanted that
Not even
shot
when he
too.
walked
He
with
wanted
it.
that shot
He
too.
slid that pivot foot too, Coach. Tonight, Benjamin breaking up the play down low to Vanley. Harris gets it back.
Great
nice
pass.
feed to Riley.
I'll tell you, these Tulsa fans like Riley. They really do. As we said, his brother has indicated he will come to TU.
That's probably part of the reason they like him so well. Now, traveling violation on Reggie Morris. Now the Golden Hurricane in command, 70-55, and Willis Reed, there's not a whole lot he can do right now. His team has committed 20 turnovers in this game.
Tulsa scored the last 10 points, Wayne, in opening up this margin, a 15-point lead.
This is Harris, number 20.
Creighton playing a man-to-man now.
Will the foul be defensive? I believe it will. Vanley set the pick, had position, and Reggie Morris went into him and bowled him over. That's 4 on Reggie Morris. One-and-one opportunity.
Here. Harris uses the pick very effectively. Vanley setting a good pick. Creighton knocks it down, knocks the pick down, gets called for the foul. Vanley will go to the line.
Vanley shooting at 66%, 66.7% in Valley play from the free throw line. 8 of 12. We mentioned he's been bothered by injuries. In and out of the lineup. Misses on the one-and-one opportunity. Brandon the rebound for Creighton. This is Vernon Moore. 6:40 to go. The Blue Jays will have to start their run at it right now. They trail by 15. Tonight Benjamin inside. Beautiful feed. Benjamin is fouled. Score the field goal. Riley came up saying there's nothing I could do about that one, Coach.
And they continue to shoot well. A great interior pass right here. Moore gets it inside the Bates, who drops it off. Penetration is made. A good bounce pass away from the defensive man as the pass should be made. He catches the offensive player, Benjamin, in the flow toward the basket. Up and in for an easy 2 when you're 7 foot 250.
Right, Benjamin at the line. Completes the three-point play. So the lead has been sliced to 12. Full court pressure again by Creighton in the backcourt. Vanley the man they play ahead to. Now Smith. Riley, I don't think, was expecting it. This is Vanley, number 53. Blocked by Benoit Benjamin, and Benjamin gets it back.
Creighton refuses to quit. They keep battling back. They've done it all night.
Brandon, number 25, given the jump from the corner, he has to take it. Richard Bates on the drive off the rebound. Vince Williams comes up with the back tap. Frustrating sequence for the Blue Jays because they got the good shot. Harris, number 20.
An open man down low for Tulsa.
Here's
there
Riley.
He is.
Well, Riley has 4 points off the bench. 16-point lead now. Wyville Wood, number 23. Vernon Moore in the corner. Moore would like to go inside. Golden Hurricane really packing in on that zone. Benoit Benjamin from the paint. Riley takes the ball off the backboard. This is Mike Smith directing traffic. Vanley on the wing. 4:55 left to be played. 72-58. Tulsa. Down low, Vanley wide open, and he missed it. He slipped behind Benoit Benjamin, and Benjamin able to clean up on the rim. Vernon Moore trying to force the pass, and good defense by the Golden Hurricane. Moore in the corner. Gregory Brandon in heavy traffic. He was hammered by Vanley. On Vanley, that's personal foul number 1. 16 fouls. Up off the bench, Herbert Johnson, number 41, reports back on, replacing Vanley. Creighton Blue Jays are trailing 72-58. We have 4:30 remaining to be played. Steve Ballard coming back on for the Hurricane. He replaces Jeff Riley. Ballard, number 40. Number 30 in the ball game, Kenneth Evans back on for Creighton. Having a seat on the bench next to Willis Reed, Wyville Wood, and at the line, Gregory Brandon. Those are his Missouri Valley Conference averages tonight. 8 points, 2 of 2 from the line. Is that a loose rim we're hearing up there, Coach?
Yes, it is loose. Got a microphone wired up there, but it does sound like it's loose. That's probably intentional.
2-2 at the line for Gregory Brandon. Full court pressure now by the Blue Jays. Creighton is trailing by 12. Vince Williams. This is Johnson. Johnson to the corner with the open jump. Harris trying to slam it home. The ball's still loose, and we've got a foul coming up, and it's going to be on Herbert Johnson. Over anxious in his attempt to recapture the basketball.
Good job by Ballard that time of keeping the basketball alive on the offensive glass. We can see it down here. The shot's taken by Johnson. You see Ballard go strong. Once again, the rule applies. Anytime you're on the offensive board, if you can't get control of the ball, do keep it alive. Maybe your teammate will tip it in. You know, we were talking about those loose rims. My reference to being loose was to the rim, not to the microphone, Wayne, because when you're strong inside, you like to keep the basketball to lay on the basket, lay on the rim a little bit more. So you just loosen it up a little bit.
Landreth Ball misses at the free throw line. That foul, by the way, on Johnson was only his second, but 7 on the team. Both teams are over the limit. Golden Hurricane on the attack. We've seen a lot of Mike Smith here tonight.
Stays man-to-man, trying to get back in it. Good defensive job by Bates.
Coming away with the basketball, Kenny Evans. Creighton could close to within 10 with a field goal right here.
Good quick move.
This is Landreth Ball. And the lead has been sliced to 10. Landreth Ball with 4 points off the bench. Steve Harris quickly across the midcourt stripe. Vince Williams.
Every time they need one, he's there.
Harris with the up fake, and this time traveling. Well, the Blue Jays are trying to put together a run, and they've only got 3:28 to get back into it. But they trail by 10. Tulsa on top, and we'll be back after these local messages.
Who gets the good shot and is able to get it down. For Creighton, Benjamin leads them with 15 points, while Brandon has 10 and Moore has 14. So they have three starters in double figures, and at times have played well tonight. At other times, they've been affected by the pressure of TU.
3.5 minutes to go, basically, in this one. Vernon Moore, number 22. Creighton has to convert often. Really can't afford the type of mistakes they've been making throughout the evening. Reggie Morris from three-point range. Brandon gets it back. Brandon is fouled inside. Steve Ballard, the guilty party. Second personal on Ballard, and both teams over the limit. Two-shot foul coming up anyway.
And they can cut it inside 10, and they continue to hang in the basketball game. There's still a lot of time, and to Willis Reed's credit and to Creighton's credit, they refuse to crack. Comes the big guy back for Tulsa.
Put some muscle in that lineup. Bruce Vanley is a big man. Not quite as big as Benoit Benjamin. Stockier, though. 10 points, 4 of 4 at the line for Gregory Brandon tonight. Couple of big free throws. Boy, you've got to convert down the stretch at the line. You're right. It's just amazing how many games are won or lost at the line.
Yeah, it's a telling statistic.
Ballard has the rebound for the Golden Hurricane, who escape with a 10-point lead on the sequence.
See, the other thing that it does when you don't score on the free throws is it destroys your pressure. If you're going to go full court zone press or full court man-to-man, you can do that after a score much easier than you can on a miss.
Ricky Ross, number 24. That's Smith.
Creighton's going to have to scramble defensively right now. Gamble just a little bit. Try not to put Tulsa at the line and give up free throws. Almost there. Good effort by Brandon. Tulsa's running time off the clock right now.
Down low pass, geared for no one. Landreth Ball comes up with it, and he's fouled in the backcourt by Mike Smith.
That's not a good play on Smith's part. At this point in the ball game, with 2.5 minutes left and a 10-point lead, you do not want to stop the clock 85, 90 feet away from where your opponent has to go and let him walk up there and shoot a free throw.
One personal foul on Smith as you get a look at Nolan Richardson. Short sleeves. It's warmer here in Tulsa than it is in most Valley cities, I'm sure. Always warm in this building anyway. They've got one hot crowd here.
That hurts.
Manley had the rebound for Tulsa. Now Ricky Ross double team. Smith plays cross court to Harris. Manley.
Good job there.
High off the glass for Bruce Manley. 2:15 to go.
Steve Harris, a quality player. He made a great pass on that penetration.
Morris had to save Vernon Moore right there.
And they continue to hang right at 10 points.
16 for Vernon Moore. Minute 59 to go now. Double teaming. Smith had the ball knocked away. It's up for grabs. Morris throw it away to Harris. It's costly when you turn it over to Steve Harris. He makes you pay.
He's one of the better players in this conference.
Vernon Moore trying to make something happen. Landreth ball at the baseline. In traffic. Brandon inside with the force, and he was fouled. Good move by Brandon. He knew he'd be fouled. He was hoping he'd get the bounce. Personal foul on Vanley, his second. A minute 29 remaining. Tulsa on top by 12. It appears they will pick up their second straight win at home. As I mentioned, they lost at Drake, Wichita State, at Bradley, and at Illinois State prior to the victory the other night over West Texas.
I tell you, and they've played at the tough places now. That's behind them. Those people all have to play here, and their remaining road games are road games they may have a shot at winning. So I anticipate that Nolan Richardson will bring this team together. I don't think that right now the chemistry is what it was the last couple years, but that's to be expected because all those players came with Richardson from Western Texas Junior College. I think you'll see in the next couple of weeks that Tulsa will begin to gel and down the stretch be a real factor in the conference race.
Tulsa has a 10-point lead at the moment. Creighton has to gamble Landreth's ball on the foul as he tried to deny the basketball from Steve Harris. Personal foul number 1 on Landreth's ball. Minute 20 remaining. So heading to the free throw line, Steve Harris. Harris, sophomore from Blue Springs, Missouri. Highly recruited by many teams in the Big 8 Conference, including the Missouri Tigers. The lead is now 11, up off the bench for the Creighton Blue Jays. Wyville Wood reports on. Creighton hung tough, but they could not handle the second half surge of the Golden Hurricane here tonight. Boy, Steve Harris just amazing. Does he ever miss?
He's an excellent shooter, and he plays with good temperament.
Vernon Moore, nice move. He has 18 points. He's played well, but has been overshadowed in the backcourt by Harris. Ricky Ross, 66 seconds remaining. 10-point lead for Tulsa. Ross from three-point range. Tonight, Benjamin the rebound. The long feed to Vernon Moore. Moore takes it away from Harris and hits on the drive. He's a fine player, Vernon Moore. We've mentioned it several times. Some backcourt pressure now by Creighton.
Creighton continues to stay after it, continues to hustle.
Vanley on the drive, he is fouled. Tonight, Benjamin, and that would be what? 3 on Benjamin, I believe, if that's the call. Yep. 3 on Benjamin. 8-point ball game. Willis Reed and his team is hung tough, as Bob mentioned. Faster than 8. However, only 39 seconds remaining. And at the free throw line, Bruce Vanley. First trip to the line. There's Nolan Richardson. Glad to see his team back home, I can assure you of that. He has been to some real horror houses if you're a visiting team, that is. Nice place to be if you're the home team in Peoria or at Normal.
Nolan's not,
or at Terre Haute.
He's not used to losing as many games as they've lost this year.
Somebody said he's never been 6-5. He doesn't know what it's like. The lead is 9 now for Tulsa. Vernon Moore. From the corner, Reggie Morris. Harris the rebound. 28 seconds to go. Harris is fouled by Vernon Moore.
Don't foul him. But you really don't have any choice. If you're going to stop the clock, you're going to have to foul the man with a basketball. Just try to do it so it doesn't look intentional.
Nolan Richardson. Steve Harris, 9 of 9 from the free throw line. 34 points in the ball game. He's got a good start on being the Valley Player of the Week, I'd say. We may be seeing him at halftime next week. Fine player. A lot of people think that he is just an outside shooter, but Bob, I think he's at his best when he's on the move, on the run, penetrating toward the hoop and then releasing on the drive.
Well, he moves extremely well with the basketball as well as without it. And when he has it, he seems to always have good control of his body, and that's so important.
10 of 11 from the free throw line. Wyville Wood from deep. Brandon trying to tap it home, and the rebound recaptured by Williams. He was fouled on the play by Reggie Morris. That is 5 on Morris. So Reggie Morris leaves the ball game with 15 seconds left to be played. Golden Hurricane will be 8-7 overall, 3-4 in Valley play. At the free throw line, Vince Williams. Williams was scouted at an all-star game late in the recruiting season after the Golden Hurricane had signed Steve Harris. Williams missing on the free throw. Benoit Benjamin the rebound. Outlet pass nearly tipped away, but Wyville Wood recaptures. Vernon Moore from the outside. Kenneth Evans. Gregory Brandon hustling for the rebound. We got a whistle.
Ricky Ross tonight, Wayne, for Tulsa, has 9 points, all of them on three-point shots.
Fowler guilty of his 3rd personal foul on the play. Gregory Brandon at the line. West Texas State at Wichita State next week, the Valley game of the week. Brandon connecting on his first. It's academic from here, but he can slice the deficit down to 8 if he connects on his second. Well, Gregory Brandon hits a pair. Full court pressure by Creighton. Blue Jays have not given up. 2 seconds remaining. And that's it. Now the final score, the Creighton Blue Jays fall to the Tulsa Golden Hurricane 80-72 behind 34 Steve Harris points. Vernon Moore had 20 points in defeat. Benoit Benjamin had 15. And Brandon had 14 for the Creighton Blue Jays. We'll be back with some final words and a recap of tonight's action after these messages. 3-4 in Valley play. Creighton 6-9 overall, 2-4 in the Missouri Valley play. Next week, West Texas State at Wichita State on the Missouri Valley game of the week. Special thanks to Jeff Hurd, our statistician, Ron Paradis, the Creighton Sports Information.